Hi, I am Amalie Schaefer with Systematic Excellence Consulting, and I am going to start a series where I'm going to review the ClickUp free templates because I think they're a great place to start. And something that I hear all the time is from clients is that they just don't know where to start as far as getting organized in ClickUp. And I think that they provide a lot of really great templates. So I'm going to review them, go over them, recommend any changes I would make to them. And so today I'm going to go over the project management template. So the first thing I want to do is show you how I got it in here, and then I'll go over some of the changes I made and recommend some additional changes that I think will help when using it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I created a space. And ClickUp has templates. They have space templates, folders, lists, and tasks, but we're going to look at folder templates. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit the plus sign. I'm going to go to new folder. I'm going to go to templates, go to community, and then I'm going to grab the project management one right here. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to click use template. And then what I want to do is I can either rename it. So this is the PM template number 2 because I have one already. And then it asks me if I want to import everything, which I do. If you want to customize that, you can select which things you want to implement or import. I'm sorry. And just so you know, this is a free account, so everything I'm doing is you're able to do with the free account. And then this is asking me if I want to import as is or if I want to remap due date. So I'm just going to do remap. Some of them won't actually pick up, but we'll use what we can. So now it's going to skip weekends, and I want to import all tasks as open, meaning that if there were any tasks that were closed, they'll actually be in open now, so I can start fresh. And then I'm going to click on use template, and it's going to go ahead and create the folder for me. And so now what I'm going to do is, and now it opens it up. So I'm just going to move my face here. Okay, and so what we're looking at now is how it's imported exactly. And then I'll make some recommendations on some changes. So the first thing I'm going to do, because some of these due dates aren't exactly what I need, so I can go ahead and select all of these, or I can go over to select all, and then I can go over to set due dates, and I can actually just clear the dates, and then so I can start fresh with my own plan. So let's go ahead and remove the due dates here too. Okay, and then obviously you can change the different budgets and stuff. If you want to keep these custom fields as is, that's totally fine. The one thing I did add here is a start date. So I just went over to add a column, and I scrolled down till I saw start date. And so now it's going to add a start date in for me. I just moved it over here so I can see start date, end date, or start date, due date. And then one of the other things that I like to add is let's see, we can look at, we can add track time, time estimate if that's what we want to see. So you can add a bunch of these here. And if you want to do the budget, so this is a free account, so it's not going to do any calculations. And I'm just going to go ahead and hide this column. I don't want to see it. And then one of the last things I generally add is a website one, and I call it the asset folder. So we'll just add that column there. Okay, cool. So now I've kind of set up, what I want to see, and now what I would do if this was me is I would go through and look at the different tasks and edit it to the way that you work. But this is just a really great starting place. And as far as the phases, so this is broken down into 4 phases. It does have tasks. Oh, one thing I do as far as setting up, so for the folder view, I like to see things that are to do. Um, and I don't want to see like all of the other statuses. I just want to see, what is to do in to do status. So I usually leave that there. And then the other thing that I was adding is a new list so that I can see the milestones. So you can see here, they've already set up specific milestones. If you don't want those milestones anymore, all you do is go to convert and unmark as milestone. If you want to keep it as a milestone or want to set something else as a milestone, again, you just go to convert, mark as milestone. And so now it'll be set as a milestone. So milestones are going to be like the end of a phase. Like once that particular phase is done, it's a milestone that maybe is when you are going to set up a call with the client or something like that. So one of the other things I would add, so we have the list, the revision status. This is already comes with the template, and this just pulls everything in into very specific statuses that they have set up here. So you can see the filters there, and they group by review. So they are grouping it by custom field. And so the custom field that they have, so if we go over here, and you can see it in the list view. So in the list view, they have this status where it's to do, in progress, ready, and complete. So when in the folder view, when they set this up, they've organized it by that custom field. And so then all the tasks that are, where they have them set in that custom field are now organized in that way based on what they have set there. So again, what I did here, what I was just explaining is that I would add a new list view. And let's add a new view and let's filter by milestones. So there's a lot of ways that you can filter this by, but let's say we want to filter by milestone, and then we can go ahead and save this view. And so now it's going to filter by milestone. So we can rename this to milestones. Oops. Okay, cool. So now we'd be able to pull that and see what those are. And so then you can also add, we can pull in some of the custom fields, like maybe start date. Maybe we want to pull in the due date. Let's see, where is it? Oh, due date. Oh, it's already there. Oops, that's why. So we can see different views instead of looking at everything, maybe we just want to see those. Or, maybe we want to filter by due date. Maybe we want to see the things that are due. And maybe the due date is things that are due or overdue. I don't think, we will have some because I didn't clear all the due dates. So maybe you want to have like an overdue, or let's say that we want to filter by things that are due next 7 days. So because we don't have anything set, so that's okay. What I'm going to do is show you what it'll pull up. So if we go back over to our main list, and let's give these some start dates. So if we give this a start date of tomorrow, and then let's say that it's due by Wednesday. And then let's say we're going to research this. This also starts tomorrow, but needs to be done. So it needs to be due by Tuesday. And then, let's make this Friday. Let's make the due date Friday. And then each of these, so this overall needs to be done by Friday. So we're going to plan the build. Let's say that's actually going to kick off tomorrow. And needs to be done by Wednesday. And the hiring process, let's say that will start on Wednesday, but needs to be done by maybe next Monday. And then let's say this start date is also Wednesday, but it's due, the following Wednesday. And let's say that this proposal will be, let's call it next. There we go. Okay, so now we see kind of what we have going on, and you'd want to do that for each of the steps. Okay, so what that's going to do then is, let's say we have this is our milestone, but it's actually what's due in the next 7 days. So if you just want to see what's due in the next 7 days, that filter that we set up will pull that for us. Okay. So let's go back to our main view here. One of the other things that I would do is I'd figure out what information you want here in the custom field. Maybe you don't want the budget, in the folder view, or maybe you do, but you can remove these or hide them if you don't want them there. And then what I would do is I'd go through each step and bump it against what your process is. So how do what are the steps that you take during the strategy phase? What are the steps that you and your team go through during the design phase and the development phase and the execution phase? What are those things? And then you're going to want to put dates to it. One of the other things I really like to do here is in the list info, you can actually set a start and end date to the folder. Meaning if this is your template that you use for clients, you could just duplicate it. So let's say we set a start date. So let's say this project is kicking off tomorrow and the whole project will be done by, I don't know, let's say the end of April. Okay. So now you have a start and end date to this folder. We've set that for, this is for phase 1, my bad. So let's say phase 1, actually let's correct that. Let's say phase 1 will be done by February. So let me go over to February 2nd. No, that's March. Oops. There we go. Okay, and then we can do the same thing for the next list. So let's say this overall is going to start, phase 2 will start February 2nd, and it'll be done, and let's say it'll be done by the 28th. Okay, then let's say, you can go through and set due dates for the overall list. And then what they also set up in this template is the Gantt view. So you can look at the view if you want to see it in the week. If you want to see it, maybe you want to see it broken down by month. And then you can see when the phases are, when you have, so this is phase 1, and we can see kind of what's going on there. If you want to see the week, that's fine. Or, maybe month, day. You want to see what that looks like. You have the option to view it in that way. And then you can open, if we need to create a task, we can do that here. But anyway, this is set up for you already as part of the template. If you want to see it in calendar view, you can do that. So you can see how here we have the phase 1 where for that list, I set the due date. So it's telling us when it starts and finishes. And then if you have more than one client going on, then you'll be able to see where those projects overlap. So this one ends and then phase 2 begins. And then you can start to see your workload, what you're going to have time for. Can you bring on more clients? Things like that. Okay, so then what I did, so from here, I would go through each list and I'd set up my views. And I know that it seems really simple, but setting up the view I think is really important. So I always do empty statuses, and then I flip this over so I can see what's due. And then I go ahead and save this view. And that way you can see, okay, what statuses do I have? Do I want to edit them? Maybe there's other statuses that you want to, maybe add or ready for review or something like that. And you would just come over here and you go to list statuses, and then you're going to either pull the folder statuses, which came with the template, or customize them. I'm not going to change them right now, but that's how you would do it. And then again, I would go through and just look at my strategy phase. Is there anything missing? Are there any steps that I need to add to it? Again, I would do the same thing in design. So I come over, I go ahead and I go to show empty statuses, I flip this over, and then I hit save view, and I would do that for each one because this is the way that I like to look at it. If there's another way you like to look at it, then you want to set that up as well. And each list has a revision status where it'll group them together by this particular status. And you can use that or you don't have to use it, you can delete it. And then once I get all the views done, then what I'm going to do is, as I would go through and figure out each step, I'm going to look at the different dependencies. So this is saying that it's waiting on a dependency. And so if I click on that, it'll tell me it's waiting on research how to crush the competition. Cool. So that means that has to be done first. So if these don't reflect your process, then change it. But this is a great place to start. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and add instructions based on the kinds of things that we need. So I might add a link to templates, meaning like we might have a folder with example proposals. And then I'm also going to add that asset folder. So we use that as like a client folder, or if it's a YouTube video, we'll use it as the folder that has all the assets in it. And I'm going to add the link to that. Then I might add some instructions. And the other thing that you can add is a checklist or subtasks if, depending on how many steps this has. This might have like a proposal review checklist, meaning these are the things to do before the proposal's done. So let's call it a proposal review checklist. And so maybe it might be review spelling. Maybe it's compare it to client call notes or something like that. Upload to proposal software, something like that. Whatever those checklist items are, I would do that for each step. And so then once you've done that, right, once you've either added checklist items or whatever, any additional information the person might need as they're going through this, once you have your template created, and this is the one that you use all the time, then, I don't know why it keeps popping up. Okay, so then what you want to do is now you want to save this because this is now your updated template. So you go to Template Center, we want to save as template, and this will be our project management template. And then we want to import everything. We go ahead and save that. Now we've saved this as a template and we can reuse it or duplicate it. Or maybe you have a template space and you just let it live here all the time, and that's totally fine too. Because if you do need to make changes to it, you'll have to create an actual folder, make the changes, save as template, or update the existing template. You can't edit the templates from the template center. So what we typically do is keep our template saved in its own in a template space to make it easier if we need to make edits to them or whatever. So if once you do that, now you have a fully functioning project management template that you can work with. So I hope that was really helpful for you. Again, I'm going to do this is a series I'm doing where I'm reviewing the ClickUp templates that they provide free, and just recommending any changes I would make and kind of walking through the template. So I hope that's helpful. The next one I'm going to do is construction management. So make sure you check out that video as well. And if you have any questions, of course, put them in the comments and I will respond. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I am Amalie with Systematic Excellence Consulting, and I look forward to seeing you next time.